Oh, that's Chamberlain.
Well, good morning, guys. Yes, indeed, we've got
You have to get used to it.
Understandably, we've got Mr. Datti Baba-Ahmed joining us this morning. He is the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Good morning, and thank you for coming on today.
A pleasure and duty.
Thank you. Well, yes, it's that time when lots of people just, the issues are there. Lots of people want to, of course, everybody wants their life to be better. No matter what it is that they're going through, they always want something better. But talking about the messages, your party, your focus, your intentions, how would you say your message, your party's message, your candidate, yourself, how is that message resonating with the people?
Pleasantly. It gives hope. And it is already uniting Nigeria in advance. You can see that as certain nationalities, as we call it in Nigeria, even though we're one nation, certain groups feel that there is effort, including others, to make theirs come to power. You can see that tension is actually coming down in Nigeria. So there's a lot of hope for better life, for better security, and already Nigeria is uniting. And the factor now, the single most important factor uniting Nigeria is the candidacy of Peter Obi. If you read in between the lines.
Okay, but you know that several elections, several narratives, politicians...
And the candidacy of others is actually doing otherwise.
Even though they will say the same thing of your candidature, your party's candidature, but that's within the realm of politicians.
But they will not have the kind of backup logic that we have.
How do you mean?
It is easy to say anything, but it is not easy to back it up.
How?
With true facts. No, what I'm telling you is that the most important factor uniting Nigeria and giving hope now is the candidacy and likely success of Peter Obi in 2023 elections. And the persistence of others to rule Nigeria is doing otherwise. I mean, this is a comment leading with a lot of meanings. Peter Obi on one hand is driven by his Labour Party candidates, assume I'm not joking, are driven by their records, stepping on what they succeeded in to attempt to lead Nigeria. Other candidates to mention are on the oath of wealth and power, and so they want Nigeria.
But the thing about politics in Nigeria is that it's not usually that straightforward. No matter how your message may be resonating with the people, how you think your ideals or ideas may be, it's a different kettle of fish when you get to the field out there, especially where, as it is now, strategy, what's playing out, hasn't really been tested. So
now that tells you the kind of democracy we are practicing after 24 years. It is very sad that what you keep hearing endlessly are the three arms of government in a democratic government, and that's more than taken for granted. There are maybe conditions for democracy, and this is philosophically different from what you're used to hearing. Just to attend to your point, one, democracy must not be about individuals or small groups or any group for that matter. It must be about a political entity for it to qualify as democratic. So it's about national and general bigger interest. Two, the aspirations and the desires and the will of the people. That's number two. Must reflect in their elections. And this is what you're saying it doesn't. We are yet to meet the second philosophical condition of democracy. The third one is that, as provided in the Constitution, the people must hold the power on whose behalf the elected government exercises authority. What you have now, governments, once they impose themselves, they hold the power and they exercise the authority. So conditions 2 and 3, that's by submission, condition 2 is not there. And I'm telling you also condition 3 is questionable. And therefore our democracy needs to be strengthened by the will of the people reflecting in the 2023 elections. If after 24 years, if 8 years of promises to the world, we suffered this kind of disappointment, then the will of every Nigerian, the cries of every Nigerian, 2023 election results, if they don't reflect the pain in the hearts of Nigerians, then this is anything but democracy.
Well, you are no rookie to politics. You've been in the system for quite a while. You've been elected as senator, so has your principal. He's been elected as governor. He's worked as governor in Anambra State for 8 years. You have also done some work in the legislative arm of the country at the federal level, and you understand just how it works. I mean, if there's anywhere where democracy really comes to play, it is in the National Assembly, where oftentimes the minority will have its say and the majority will have its way. From your understanding of how the National Assembly works, which is supposed to typify how Nigeria works, and how, for over the many years now, we have been talking about devolution of powers, we've been talking about restructuring, and the brick wall that, we've often met at the National Assembly. Some of the changes which you're hoping to, pass across or make when eventually you get to office, how do you hope that, some of these changes, assuming they were constitutional, how do you hope that they will be able to sail through?
In Labour Party, you don't have governors who are responsible or who actually appointed their 3 senators and maybe 90-95% of the House of Reps members. In Labour Party, you don't have that. You don't have a President, Peter Obi, who dictated where the party should head, and who handpicked the leadership of the party and by extension so many other members of the National Assembly. The National Assembly in our dispensation is going to be truly independent. What we will have would be mutual respect and cordial working relationship based on the tenets of true democracy.
Are you also hoping that Labour Party will sweep the polls when it comes to the parliamentary elections as well? Maybe I should use, I'm trying to find the National Assembly elections because that's what we use here.
I'm optimistic, which is different from hoping. I wish this will happen, but we are doing our best and we are doing well in making good of a bad situation. Remember, a little over 24 hours to governorship elections in Kaduna, when it became apparent that I had to pay for delegates' votes and I quit. The same 24 hours later, His Excellency Governor Peter Obi quit the presidential race and left PDP. Technically, these are times when the National Assembly primaries were over. To come to where we are now, with the senatorial and House of Reps candidates that we've been able to gather, I think we've done well in making good of a bad situation. We came in pretty, the way it's nearly too late. We've done very well, and we've got some very good materials to work with us. Even those that are not too good, I tell you, when the system is good, it has a way of propping up the not so good elements.
It's interesting that one of the issues which you have identified, and which you think that the candidature of your principal and yourself, is already beginning to change, is a narrative of uniting Nigerians, and Nigeria being a united country. But let me take you to the economy, which is another area that is currently bleeding. One of the major headaches we've had from administration to administration has been this issue of fuel subsidy. A lot of Nigerians find it very difficult to understand that a country as rich as we are, producing, with some of the world's largest oil reserves and gas reserves, still struggling the way we are economically, and that we have not been able to diversify. In the areas where we have, it's been owing to the genius of the people. For instance, in entertainment,